Hello and welcome to What the Flick. It's officially summer! Because I'm wearing black and you're in long sleeves. But you're cheerful, it's a cheerful shade.
Right.
So here we are coming to you in 3D with Iron Man 3. Was Iron Man 2 in 3D? It wasn't, I don't remember.
I want to say no.
I want to say no, because this is like prior to the advent of everything being in 3D. I'm Christy, that's Alonso. We're going to have cuddly Iron Man 3 time. Please describe it to us.
So Tony Stark has survived the events of the Avengers. He saved the planet and is everybody's hero, but that does not keep him from having anxiety attacks and insomnia. So we're finding him kind of stressed out, kind of trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And to compound his problems, we get the Mandarin, played by Ben Kingsley, who is a Bin Laden type terrorist who likes to do terrible things and then make videos about them, and a very creepy industrialist played by Guy Pearce with his own weird agenda. Take a look.
I'm Tony Stark. I build neat stuff. I got a great girl, and occasionally save the world. So can't I sleep?
You don't know who I am. You'll never see me coming.
The question, where is Tony Stark?
Things are different now. I have to protect the one thing that I can't live without. That's you.
Do you want an empty life or a meaningful death?
You just died, pal. I'm gonna come get the body.
Yes, I was sort of surprised that this is more of a sequel to The Avengers than it is to Iron Man 2, which is smart and not, in that Iron Man 2, I think we can all agree, is probably the weakest of the three.
Yeah, I don't hate it the way people do, but it is the weakest.
I didn't hate it, no, but The Avengers was so great.
Totally, yes.
So to try to spin off of that seems rather ambitious on the part of Shane Black.
Well, and it's interesting, this is, I think, almost more a Shane Black movie than it is a Marvel movie.
True.
I mean, like, even the opening narration is Robert Downey saying something and then like saying, no, and then starting over again, which is right out of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
It's very self-referential, very knowing, yes.
Definitely, and it's a Christmas movie,
Right.
you know, which he loves to do.
In the middle of the summer.
Exactly, yeah, why not? And, you know, so there's a lot of Shane Black touches, you know, the big, giant, crazy action finale, you know, all that sort of stuff. I mean, the banter is great. I like the way, I mean, Downey, you know, and Black have that sort of thing where certain actors say certain writers' dialogue in just the perfect way, and so I like them as a team. I like the way that Tony Stark deals with people and sort of blows them off or engages them. Like he has this long relationship in the film with this kid who's helping him out at some point when he has no, you know, he's desperate and needs help, and he never treats the kid like anything but another annoying adult.
Right,
you know?
There's no coddling, and as a parent, I actually really appreciated that, because we all want to talk to kids that way all the time, like, get away, you're annoying, but he will do it.
Yeah.
Right, and he and Gwyneth Paltrow still have that great kind of crackling,
Chemistry,
old school screwball comedy kind of chemistry, but this is, of course, still, first and foremost, a giant summer action movie.
Definitely.
And so, I don't know that the 3 necessarily adds anything, but there is some incredibly cool individual stuff in it, incredibly cool set pieces.
Yes.
And the way he gets into the suit is so rad, so many different ways, so many different times. I don't want to give it away, because each time it's like, wow, that was cool. but there is something going on here, like in the movie Zapped. There is like Scott Baio, Willie Ames kind of telekinetic, like, come to me, you know, here's my armor and my stuff.
Without the skirts flying up.
No. But it's at the same time, I feel like we're kind of spinning our wheels here.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think that like I said, I love the banter. I love the way that I love the dialogue exchanges. Plot-wise, the Mandarin stuff it kind of fizzles out, and then with the whole Guy Pearce thing, I'm not entirely sure what his agenda is and why, how the pieces fit together of his world-dominating plan.
Does he want an army? Is he trying to build an army? Because if so, wasn't that what was happening in Iron Man 2? Wasn't Sam Rockwell also building an army of people who are weapons?
Sort of, but also there's this whole thing of like, if he wants to sort of create this thing where he's arming both sides, but it's like, well, then who's the other side? I mean, I don't want to get too into the weeds with with this, but it just
does the plot matter though? I mean, we think it does. Do you think the average person going to see an escapist summer movie cares about plot?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's not that it should be a big deal, but you need something. I mean, because like I think that there are movies that are just all action all the time, and they don't do all that well. As much as people say, "Oh, I don't care about the plot. I just want to see stuff blow up." You want something kind of underpinning.
Cohesion.
Why is this blowing up?
Actual cohesion.
Why is this blowing up now? You know, that kind of thing. What I did like, and this is something that you see a lot of times in franchises where they sort of strip everything away and get back to the basics. Like there's a scene where he's got no armor, but he goes to like a hardware store and just makes all these little doohickeys for himself, you know, because he is this mastermind like weapons creator, you know. So it was kind of cool, as much as all the putting on the armor stuff and the armor sequences are fun, that he also can just sort of work with whatever he can pick up at a Home Depot and still turn that into, you know,
something badass.
Exactly.
I just felt no arc with him this time. I felt like he was the same person all the time, and yes, there's a couple of moments where he has these little panic attacks, but he essentially is in control and quippy and funny and glib at all times. And I felt like one of the great parts about Iron Man, the original Iron Man, was that there was the evolution of Tony Stark, and he had to find out who he truly was and what his purpose was. I don't know that he changes at all, so I felt really no emotional engagement here. It's cool looking, but I was never moved, and I didn't really care.
I think some of the glibness, though, is very clearly a defense mechanism. So even though he's being smart-assy with people, it's a lot of it coming out of a place of panic and a place of defense, you know, and you can sort of tell the difference between when he's sort of being natural, like with Gwyneth Paltrow, or when he's just using it as a way to put a wall between himself and people because he's got his own issues going on.
It's his shtick.
Exactly, yeah. What bothered me in this movie is that I love, this is so weird, I don't generally like her anywhere else, but I love Gwyneth Paltrow in these movies. I love Pepper Potts, and she's so fun. And
she can be funny, who knew?
Exactly,
there
really,
go.
she's breezy and
Yes.
engaging. I don't know if it's the Downey brings it out of her. This movie vacillates back and forth between, like, at some point she gets to put the armor on, you know, like she's in there and acting on it. I'm thinking, yes, great, she's not just the girl, you know. But then at the end of the movie, until something else happens, she spends a good chunk of it just being like literally trapped under something heavy, going, ah!
Hanging upside down.
Hanging upside down. It's so Perils of Pauline.
Yes.
I was like, come, really? Like, she's so helpless for so much of the film, it just feels like a cheat.
And needs to be rescued
character.
still.
Exactly. And I wasn't clear about the rules of this super weapon human thing that Guy Pearce has invented that can make like people regenerate limbs, but it also gives them these other powers, but sometimes they blow up and sometimes they don't.
Why do they blow up?
Why do they blow up? Yeah, like I need, just explain to me
We need a
why,
flow chart.
so we know when there's a fight sequence, like what has to be done to kill them, what's going to make them explode. Without knowing that, it's just this sort of random like thing that happens. That's what I think. What I think of the weakest part here is that there's not enough sort of ground rules for what we're dealing with.
Yeah, and yes, it is convoluted, and yes, there is this giant cast, but a movie, if we're going to compare it to The Avengers, since this essentially is a sequel to The Avengers, a movie like that did a much better job of like handling all the various moving parts and all of the characters, and not forgetting anybody, and making sure that everyone has time to shine, and yet it still has cohesion, to use that word. This feels like it botches it here and there. It kind of strains to find that balance.
But did you have fun?
Yeah, I had fun. I mean, I had fun, but I didn't care.
Okay.
I didn't feel emotionally engaged at all in anybody's struggle.
Yeah,
shouldn't you or not?
A little helps, you know. But I'd say if you're a fan of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, you'll have a good time at this. It has that sort of Shane Black, Robert Downey stuff. You just have to sort of get through the things that don't work, the things that aren't explained and that don't mean anything.
And I would say that if you are a fan of the original Iron Man and did not like the second one, you will be happy that this returns to a place of better.
More on track.
Better. Better, gooder stuff.
Yay.
I write for
liking
a living.
the things. Okay.
So please, numbers. Go ahead.
I think it's a 7.1. It's not a total success, but I had enough fun that I could forgive the things that didn't work.
I'm saying 6.4. I swear I like fun. I love the first Iron Man. It was on my top 10 list that year. So our average is 6.7. It is way higher in Tomatoland because it has been playing overseas for like a year at this point, it feels like. Everyone in Europe and England has seen this movie.
And it's huge in China.
Yes.
Big opening weekend
Because didn't they like add extra China stuff?
Yes, with I forget the actress's name, something Bing Bing, who's like big over there, and yeah, she gets a whole segment that we're not going to get to see. So
I would have liked to have seen that too. Why
maybe
not?
maybe on the DVD.
So the average is 81% in Rotten Tomatoes, but it's dropping a bit. It was like 90, and now it's dropping a bit.
Okay.
Now that we mean cold Americans are seeing it.